Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're doing a special video. We are doing a double Zygarde video. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Double Zygarde all the way across the sky. And these could be kind of fun. Now, they're both fighting Pokemon, which means you can use Brooklet Hill, and given that they are both basic Pokemon, Brooklet Hill can be used to search them out and pop them straight onto the bench. Strong Energy can be used by either Pokemon to boost their damage by 20, or if they prefer, they can use Regirock to boost the damage by 10, or Diancie Prism Star to boost their damage by 20. And of course, being basic Pokemon, they can use Fighting Fury Belt to get an extra 40 HP while doing an extra 10 damage. And let's not forget Max Elixir, which, you know, let's face it, good for accelerating energy onto basic Pokemon. They both have the glory of being able to hit the best weakness in the game. They're hitting weakness on Zoroark, and this is fantastical. So, all in all, being a fighting Pokemon at the moment, as I've said a few times before, pretty nice. They do both have a weakness to grass, which could be an issue with Golisopod running around, and you never know when my boy Tapu Bulu is going to come back and be good again. Honestly, ladies, although to be fair, it did actually cut a few times in Collinsville. To be honest, for the 10% Zygarde, it's not going to be an issue. It's only got 90 HP, but it does have a retreat cost of 1, which is very, very low. The 50% Zygarde's actually got a HP of 130, which is quite nice, because there's a lot of Pokemon around, like for instance Zoroark, that do 120 damage. Although, with weakness to Golisopod will absolutely smash this particular Zygarde. Hey-ho, can't win them all. It's also got a retreat cost of 2, which is the worst retreat cost in the game. So let's take these one by one and have a quick gander if the ability/attack is any good. So, first of all, we'll start with the 10% Zygarde, or Dog Guard, as I like to call it. I should mention that these were both revealed and translated over at Pokebeach.com, so shout out to their lovely translators for doing the job that I, as of yet, am unable to do. The ability here is absolutely terrible. Damage from this Pokemon's attacks isn't affected by weakness or resistance. It's Hawlucha's ability from Furious Fists, which sucks. Okay, you get to go through resistance, and that's pretty good. Fighting is one of the more popular resistances we see. All these flying Pokemon like Eviltal do have a resistance to fighting. So, yes, there are a bunch of Pokemon around that will resist fighting, but you don't hit for weakness. And I just got done saying that hitting for weakness is one of the best things about these fighting Zygardes, or fighting Pokemon in general. Hitting for weakness, good. Not hitting for weakness, bad. Yes, you get to go through resistance, but we often get stadiums that end up going through it anyway. Magnetic Storm was the most recent of these, and okay, fine. I know Magnetic Storm did rotate out, but before that, we had Ruins of Alph. Sooner or later, we're going to get another stadium that takes away resistance. I don't like this ability. Yes, going through resistance is fine, but losing hitting for weakness is really, really bad. Honestly, this could be a really useful Pokemon. This ability is going to hurt it. Now, of course, there's always a possibility, like we did with Hawlucha, that we could just turn off this ability. If you're in the expanded format, you've got Silent Lab, which was often used with Hawlucha. Don't forget you've got Alolan Muck that does turn off abilities of all basic Pokemon in play. So that means that you can pop an Alolan Muck down, and as soon as an Alolan Muck comes into play, then you don't have the ability anymore, and at least until the rotation, we've got Garbodor. But when you're having to play a Pokemon to turn off your own ability just to become viable, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a bad, bad sign. In terms of the attack, 1 fighting energy, 30 damage. If your opponent has any Ultra Beasts in play, this attack does 30 more damage. This could have been good. I am genuinely quite a big fan of the new Guzzlord that we talked about just a couple of days ago. And the thing is that Guzzlord has 160 HP and is an Ultra Beast, which means this Zygarde against that Guzzlord would be doing 60, with a strong energy would be doing 80, doubled to 160, getting a nice easy KO. Oh no, wait! It doesn't hit for weakness. And that's the big problem here. Now let's say you're against something like a Buzzwole deck, although this could very well be played in a Buzzwole deck. That's playing an Ultra Beast, so you do 60 damage for 1 energy, and then maybe you pop a strong energy on and it becomes 80, and a choice band and it becomes 110, and it builds up. We've talked in many videos lately about fighting Pokemon and how this damage can build up, but honestly, ladies and gentlemen, this would be great if it was hitting for weakness, especially if Guzzlord or Guzzlord GX ever became popular. As it is, it's just annoying. Now, there is a possibility that in the future, there is an Ultra Beast that's released that becomes a staple in basically every deck. In which case, this becomes a lot better, because you're pretty much always hitting 60 for 1 energy on a basic, which is really good. But until Ultra Beasts really become staples in every deck, this is too expensive. Fun fact, Xurkitree is another Ultra Beast which is seeing a fair amount of play at the moment, which is weak to fighting, which won't be hit for weakness by this. Bad, Dog Guard, bad. But Slug Guard, 50% Zygarde, I like an awful lot more. 130 HP, like I've said, is much better. Double colourless energy, so you got a single energy attachment if you so choose. 20 damage, flip a coin if heads the defending Pokemon is now paralysed. I like this. We've seen this on a whole bunch of Pokemon pretty much forever. I mean, I used the example in a video recently. Dynamo used to see a fair bit of play just to try and get that little bit of paralysis, buy you a turn to set up. And just like the old Dynamo had the old Victini, this has the new Victini, so that 50% chance of paralysis becomes a 75% chance of paralysis. Although I would like it so much more if it did 30, because then you could get a one-hit KO on a Zorua, where you were hitting for weakness, which you don't get here, which kind of sucks. But, you know, you can't win them all, ladies and gentlemen. It's not too bad. You're still hitting for weakness. This is fine, and I've said this in a bunch of videos about attacks like this. You're only doing 20 damage. So you're not... This isn't a winning the game kind of attack. This isn't a taking multiple prizes kind of attack. This is a, you know what? I need to buy a couple of turns, so I'll do a bit of damage while paralyzing, and that's going to allow me to do that. And in that context, yeah, it's not bad. The big attack here, fighting 2 colourless, so you can still use double colourless. 60 damage. If you've used your GX attack this game, this attack does 60 more damage. 120 for free energy is good, especially when you can use double colourless. So essentially, this comes down to, have you used your GX attack? If you haven't, it's bad. If you have, it's good. But we often see early game GX attacks from stuff like the Lycanroc Midnight form, or things like Buzzwole GX. These do sometimes see very early game GX attacks. And of course, if you're using early game GX attacks, might I remind you that we do have Hala, which becomes a hella good draw card if you've used your GX attack. Really, if you're playing this Pokemon, you've got to be committed to an early game GX attack. You've got to be committed to using it very early, but then it becomes a really good card, and we've got the usual damage amplifiers for fighting Pokemon. But you hit good numbers very quickly. So you start with 120, you add a Choice Band, you're up to 150, you add a Diancie Prism Star, you're up to 170. That's a Tapu Lele KO, which is good. Add a Strong Energy, you're up to 190, there's a KO on Buzzwole. Add a second Strong Energy, or 2 Regirock EX, and you're getting a one-hit KO on Golisopod. And of course, doing 120 just flat out gets a KO on a Zoroark. This is not a great Pokemon. I should also mention, of course, that 60 is the perfect number that when doubled will get a one-hit KO on a Hooper from Shining Legends, which is often used to block attacks from GX Pokemon and EX Pokemon. So in something like a Buzzwole Lycanroc deck, this would be a good tech to take down Hooper, even if you haven't used your GX attack. It hits numbers quite nicely. I don't think this is an every fighting deck kind of card, but if you are okay building a deck to use your GX attack early, I think this becomes pretty gosh darn good. I think this is a really good Pokemon that will see a bit of play. I absolutely expect to see this teched into some fighting decks, because 120 for free energy, especially where you can use double colorless, is pretty gosh darn good. I'm going to give Zygarde 2 Wossies. It sucks because of the ability. I really like the attack, the ability just ruins it. And I refuse to give a respectable score if I've got to try and ability lock myself just to play it. Because if I ability lock myself, then that means I don't get to use stuff like Tapu Lele either, which sucks. Although, if we ever have an Ultra Beast revealed that goes into every deck, now you've got a basic hitting 60 damage for 1 energy against pretty much every deck. Now we're talking. But that is an if down the line. As for Zygarde, I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wossies. We don't give half Wossies. That would, of course, be barbaric. First attack, alright for buying time. Second attack, hits the numbers. If you can use your GX attack, you are good to go. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys with these cards. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, and I think you should, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. That's where you can have that, and there's fun to be had. But by far, the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.